Kia ora, Internet.
Hello and welcome to the Sky Bear Games podcast.
We're back.
Oh my god.
It's been a while.
It really has.
If you're not from New Zealand, we've had a whole bunch of lockdowns again.
We basically have been away the whole 3 months to match with the lockdown. We did our episode 30. We did right at the start of lockdown because we had it planned. It was like that same week.
But with having the whole family in the house, especially having a toddler, the logistics of making it work was just not feasible. Until now!
Yep.
Lockdowns are finally at an end, or coming to an end.
Yep, there's a little bit more free time, a little bit less toddler time, so
Yep.
recording's a thing again, and
So we're back.
yeah.
So that's great. So what have we been up to in lockdown?
Oh, so much. And yet, so it feels like so little.
Well, we've been playing a lot of board games
Yep.
when we squeeze them in. So we got Pandemic Rising Tide.
Oh yeah, that happened. And we got quickly addicted to it.
Even though it's really hard and you'll always drown.
Yeah, we lose a lot, but we love it.
Or is it just the Venga Boys soundtrack that we have on while we play?
We played a lot of Magic.
We got some boxes of Jumpstart. If you're not familiar with it, Jumpstart is the best casual way to play Magic. You just open 2 booster packs, shuffle them together, and you've got an instant deck. So it's a lot of fun.
How many card game cubes did you make during lockdown?
I made a Middle-earth The Wizard's Cube. So that's the old Lord of the Rings card game from the 90s. From before the movies came out. I made a cube of that. That was a lot of fun.
Yep, that was well done.
I need to print off some proxies of a few things and stretch it out, but yeah. I started making a lidless eye cube. So the first Middle-earth set, you get to be the wizards, and you're all competing to be best wizard by gathering resources to fight Sauron. Then they made a spin-off set where you get to be the Nazgul and do the same thing but on the other side, so you muster all your orcs. I started putting that together, but I found I didn't quite have enough of it. I made a Legend of the Five Rings cube.
Oh yeah.
Using Imperial Edition, the original set from, 25 years ago now or so?
Ooh.
And it wasn't great.
No.
Part of the problem was we had all the basic resource cards that you could just pick and just put into the cube, but we probably should have had some basic actions and followers and stuff. And so it meant that it was very swingy, and I'm really not sure that Legend of the Five Rings wants to be a cube. So I'm currently thinking about ripping that apart and turning it into a bunch of little decks instead.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And I made a cube that I've been wanting to build for so long. My magic Kamigawa cube.
It's really good.
Kamigawa is famous for being the Japanese mythology set of magic that went so deep into the mythology that it turned everyone off. Also, it sucked.
Aw, come on.
But for the cubes, what I've done is I've taken the 3 sets that got released and cut them down and mushed them together to make one super set. And so as a result, with all the chaff taken out, but all the flavour still in there, it's really fun. So we've played that, twice now?
Yep.
And you've won both times.
I have, unexpectedly,
but
not being very familiar
We managed to
with it.
draft some really cool decks with it.
And this is all just in time, or slightly ahead of time, for Wizards to release a...
Kamigawa Neon Dynasty returned to Kamigawa, but now it's cyberpunk.
Well, on the one hand, tasty, but on the other hand, another, Asian fetishization cyberpunk setting. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, during the lockdown, I might have managed to get through it by buying too many role-playing books.
Oh boy.
So I've had a lot of fun reading up on Shadowrun, on Marvel Heroic, which had just arrived in the mail, and some other things as well.
In the last month, we got back into once a week, you and me, role-playing.
That has been so good.
So good. And I have been keeping the blog updated with the journal for that. So if you are interested in seeing our session reports, you can check out the blog.
And we managed to, just in the last couple of weeks, start doing a fortnightly game with some friends of ours.
Oh, so good.
So much fun. So the idea is that we're going to go through some of the games that I've had sitting on my shelf for forever. And we will just sort of play them and try a whole bunch of different things. Unless we wind up deciding that we're having so much fun doing a particular thing that we just want to stick with it. And we are having such a good time. At the moment we are doing the original Star Wars D6, which we talked about back in an earlier episode.
Oh, yeah.
It really is a sweet, sweet little game. And we've just had a lot of fun playing that so far.
It's great. I've brought back an old character of mine out of retirement. It's awesome.
And apart from that, what video games have we been playing?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so I didn't really advertise this very much. I thought about tweeting it, but I was like, who cares? I don't know. So much for building my, public brand, right?
Public brands are overrated.
The day before the 10th anniversary of Skyrim, I finally unlocked all the achievements on Skyrim.
Yay!
Yeah, there have been times...
Only took 10 years.
I know, right? There have been times in the last decade where I played it addictively, and I'm sure I've clocked up many hundreds of hours. But the thing is, I'd never really been paying attention to the achievements. So it must have been like a year ago, I went into the achievements and went, surely I've got everything. And lo and behold, I was missing like 5. And so I said to you, I was like, I've got a year. I'm gonna wipe these achievements out before the 10th anniversary of Skyrim. And then it came down to a month before the deadline. I was like, oh my god, James, I still haven't done it.
And then it got down to like the day before the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we've been revisiting some old favourites. I played Stardew Valley, which I'd done for a stream once, but I actually sat down and played it properly. Turns out there is a lot of stuff to do in Stardew Valley, but I got married, I built a farm, I've got 1 drop that I need to restore the community centre, and so every so often I just open it up and see if if the rabbit will give me its lucky foot. That's all I need.
That sounds a bit sus.
It does a little bit. I wonder if I should just sell all my animals and just farm rabbits to see which one will give me a foot first. That really doesn't sound very nice, does it?
I just remembered at the start of the pandemic, the start of this, not the whole pandemic, the start of this particular lockdown, I was still playing Persona. I'd started it in June, and I must have finished it.
Yes, you've been playing Persona 5 Royale.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast. Like, I both loved it because it's Persona 5. I mean, come on. But also I was sort of like, the royal version just feels a little bit bloated, a little bit unnecessary. Yeah.
Apart from that, I have also been playing Diablo 2 and Diablo 3.
That's right.
Loved going back to Diablo 2. A little bit cold on Diablo 3.
Yeah. Just too smooth.
It does a lot of things to simplify things out, but what it felt like in practice was that it removed choice.
Oh, okay.
In Diablo 2, you have to choose which powers you want to train up, how you want to do your build. And that sort of thing can be problematic because it leads to get a good build or suck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does mean that there are viable builds, and the internet can tell you very quickly which builds to stay away from. Whereas with Diablo 3, you automatically unlock all the powers, and your choice is which one you want to have attached to which hotkey. So there'll be 4 powers attached to a particular hotkey on the Switch, and you just choose which one that you've unlocked you want to use.
It's funny that you say that, because people had similar complaints about the progression of Elder Scrolls over the years as well. Yeah.
So it just felt a little too smooth.
Right. And now I'm playing KOTOR.
Speaking of things that are smooth, KOTOR isn't.
Oh no. That I actually did do some Twitter engagement on. I was like, you know what? None of y'all are allowed to hit me on my heavy-handed exposition ever again, because I've played KOTOR now, and by God.
It really does show if you go back in time all the way back to KOTOR. Yes, I think it's still a classic. Yes, I think the storyline is still amazing, though. Wow, it takes a while to kick off, because you're still on the first planet, Terrace.
Yeah.
And so basically, the plot hasn't started.
No, and
the plot really starts when you get off Terrace.
I wouldn't recommend having someone play, like I have, having someone play Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and then go back to KOTOR.
Because there's so much, every title they do is an evolution. Yeah. And this is going back a long way.
This is the origin of those, and oh boy, it shows the guts of it, and it's too much. I'm looking forward to the remaster.
KOTOR is getting well, I think it's a complete remake.
Awesome.
So, like the Final Fantasy VII one.
Speaking of which, I need to play. I got that for Christmas last year, and I still haven't played it.
Speaking of which, I need to finish Final Fantasy IX, get on to Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I've been looking forward to for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and then in our own creative work, I managed to knock out the first draft of
Woohoo!
my next Dragons of Tyrenia release, the Fiumenzi campaign guide, which will be about the main city in the setting. It's not the biggest, it's not the most powerful, but it's probably the most iconic and the most suitable to be just a generic home base and showcase all the themes of the campaign.
Yeah.
So,
well done on that.
Yeah, so first draft is complete, and as of the point where I finished first draft, I then went back to work and I've had virtually no free time since then.
Whereas I have been chipping away at Her Gentle Highness. It was pretty hard to get any work done at the start of the lockdown. And now it's just a matter of chipping away at it daily. I've had to put the release date out between 2 to 3 months. So I'm calling early 2022, first quarter. I don't want to drag it out any longer than that. You know, I'm reaching the point where I'm almost done with it. By that point, I'll have been working on the game on and off for 2 years. So like it's time to go.
That's long enough.
And yes, I've been working on that. I took part in NaNoWriMo and I took 23 days to make 50k
But you did your
words.
50k words, woohoo!
I did, and I'm keeping on going. I'm having a lot of fun doing.
Yes, every day I get home, you tell me how the characters have gone and done something
Yep.
that you completely didn't expect, or made out with someone that you completely didn't expect.
Yeah.
So sounds like you're having a lot of fun.
And then just this week, I relaunched the Pokemon Time Capsule blog. Which I think the one viewer who looks at it is super excited about. Hi!
And of course, I've kept reading Dragonlance all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
So the 2 people who've been reading that have gotten to see my increasingly frustrated and furious rants about the Prelude series, which is awful.
You're almost done with that, right?
Last book just finished, going to be writing up the review this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And then I get to enter Heroes 2, which is the Heroes series was so well received that they got all the authors back to do number 2s. And
I hope not. I hope it's better than that.
they also wrote more books.
Good. I'm glad.
We're going to keep that in?
I don't know, James, don't put that on the blog, Dunning. Are we going to keep that in?
Anyway, I really enjoyed the first and the third book of the first Heroes trilogy. And for this one, they've got those 2 authors back to write a sequel, and they've replaced the author of the book that I didn't like as much with a new one. So
excellent.
This could be promising.
We love to see it.
We'll see.
Cool. Okay, I think that's everything we've been up to. Besides seeing our glorious child grow up, glow up, talk a lot, and it
generally be amazing.
I mean, it was as stressful as it was actually really lovely to spend all that extra time with him. So hey, silver linings. Yeah.